Hello and welcome back to NoBS. Today we turn to talking about a pretty based figure in conservative politics who hasn't been getting enough props on this show lately, so I'm about to change that and talk about Attorney General Barr today. Barr is a pretty cool guy who's been bashing the media and many others in interviews recently, and he's also been standing up for Trump and being a strong figure in his political cabinet. For those who don't know, the Attorney General, or AG, is basically the top cop, and he's head of the Justice Department here in the United States of America. Very important job, needing of a powerful and strong lawyer to usually pull that off, and that's who Barr is. AG Barr has been doing well as his taking over this position recently and handling some interviews from Congress, which he ended up flipping back around on some terrible liberal Congress people who tried to corner him with dumb questions. That happened a few weeks ago. And recently he's been doing some other interviews that have been pretty good too. So today we're going to talk about one of those. We're going to talk about a video he had on the Wolf Blitzer report. He was on CNN in the belly of the beast, in the lion's den. And there he was talking bad about mail-in voting. Mail-in voting is a new meme being pushed by many Democrats right now. So I'm sure the people at CNN were trying to be positive for it. But AG Barr basically shuts down a lot of things about it. He unloads about mail-in voting in this video we're about to watch. So I want to share it with you, have some comments too, and have a little laugh as well, because I think it's pretty cool, again, to see him do this on CNN in their faces in front of everything and just kind of really perform excellent. He's a good speaker. He answers things well. He's smart. He's quick. And it's going to be a good watch. So we're going to get to that soon. We're going to check out the video, talk about it, go over things about mail-in voting and why it's a really bad idea and probably a ploy by the Democrats to cheat this election. We're going to get to all that soon, but first, let's take a quick moment to check out our sponsor. After 20 years old, your body will naturally decrease its collagen production by 12% each passing decade. This decrease in collagen is a leading reason to why skin appears thinner and more wrinkled as we age. And the way to keep our skin looking healthy and youthful is by consuming 5 different types of collagen, which we're going to offer to you today from our website at healthwithnobs.com. Provided by BioTrust, our offer today is a very, very high quality protein source that you can take daily just by adding some water. And if you order today, you can get your own bag of ageless multi-collagen for 51% off, plus free shipping. So make sure you check out our link below at healthwithnobs.com. Great, now that that's out of the way, let's get to the video in question. I first found it in a tweet from Danny. It says, AG Barr unloads on mail-in voting, Barr activated, fire, fire, fire. Pretty good endorsement so far, and I think once we watch the video, we'll see how good it really is. So with all that said, let's get right into it.
All right, let's talk a little bit about what the president also said just a little while ago about North Carolina's absentee voting system. He said, and I'm quoting him right now, "So let them send it in and let them go vote. And if the system is as good as they say it is, then obviously they won't be able to vote." That sounds like he's actually encouraging people to commit a crime, to vote twice.
This is a new story, too. A lot of people have been trying to make this claim that Trump said people should vote twice. It is a total misrepresentation. It's almost as bad as the Find People hoax, that fake quote that they try to put on Trump. It is just a sign of they're very, very desperate. They're very, very desperate right now. They've got nothing in their hands. They've got nothing to go against the conservatives. And that's why Barr just made this face. Like, he made the best face already. He was just like confused. And he's like, how do I bat this? Is this guy serious? I'm actually on Wolf Blitzer right now, and he's making crap up.
I'm sorry, you'll have to read that again.
All right, this is what he said. So let them send them. So let them send it in. The email, the voting by mail, and let them go vote the ballot. Let them send in the ballot, and then let them go vote. And if the system is as good as they say it is, then obviously they won't be able to vote. It sounds like he's encouraging people to break the law and try to vote twice.
Well, I don't know exactly what he was saying, but it seems to me what he's saying is he's trying to make the point that the ability to monitor this system is not good. And
that's the greater point. I'll continue in a moment. I'll let him finish his explanation, but I got to cut in because the real point is Trump didn't say people should vote twice. That's not the quote. That's not the words that were in his mouth. And in these cases, especially these days, you got to be strict with these reporters and even people online. I see a lot of people misquoting people on Twitter like crazy. Happens to me every day. And you got to hold them accountable and say, hey, Trump did not say vote twice. So those were not the words. You can say you thought he thought that, or you implied that, or something like that, but break that down first. And then the greater point is what Trump is obviously showing is that he's saying, hey, do mail-in voting, and then when you go to the polling station, they should turn you away because they already have your vote. Like, that's the point. He's saying if there was a proper way to keep track of this, you wouldn't be able to vote a second time. And in this hypothetical scenario, he would say, yeah, they wouldn't turn you away. You could potentially vote twice, and that's the point. That's what's wrong.
And if it was so good, if you tried to vote a second time, you would be caught. If you voted in person.
That would be illegal if they did that. If somebody mailed in a ballot and then actually showed up to vote in person, that would be illegal.
I don't know what the law in the particular state says.
You can't vote twice.
Well, I don't know what the law in the particular state says and when that vote becomes final.
Is there any state that says you can vote twice?
Well, there's some, maybe that you can change your vote up to a particular time. I don't know what the law is, so I'm not going to offer.
He was saying test the system.
If you know what he's saying, why are you asking me what he's saying?
He doesn't believe in the mail-in voting. You're the Attorney General of the United States.
Why does you? Yeah.
That's great. He's getting laughs in there. Oh my God, this is good. He's like, if you know what he's saying, why are you asking me? Yeah, it's like he won't accept the AG Barr's explanation. He won't accept his interpretation. Barr is also playing it safe. He's saying he doesn't know the laws for each state. Like, I mean, I'm sure he could go through it specifically, but since this is a hypothetical, he doesn't need to. He doesn't want to offer up anything unless we're getting actual cases. And if it's like, okay, someone voted twice in Georgia, then he'll turn to their laws and go through it and figure it out. That's how it works. That's the way the system works. And it's good for him to be kind of coy and cagey because he's just like, he knows that these media guys, they're not your friends. These guys are ready to just go after you. They're ready to cheat you and manipulate your words and try to make you look bad, rephrase things and misquote you on purpose, like what they're doing to Trump. So I love that he laughs there. This is a great reaction to Wolf Blitzer just being a real putz. Like, he's really not actually doing reporting here. He thinks he's got some kind of gotcha, but even Wolf Blitzer, you could see him like stumbling through the explanation. He couldn't even get it out. And I think it's because for another reason, Wolf Blitzer is like an amateur. I know he's been on TV forever, but he does not compete with someone like AG Barr at all. He knows he has a high stakes player in his realm. He knows that, this AG Barr, he's a professional. This guy is a GOAT, greatest of all time, one of those kinds of guys. Like, he knows he's in the presence of a badass, and that's why Wolf Blitzer can't handle it, and he's like stumbling and trying to say Trump said to vote twice. But the Trump suggestion is this a premise. It's just an idea. He's saying if this thing worked well and you went to vote twice, it wouldn't even be able to happen because they would have a record of it and they would turn you away. And that's the point. He's not telling people to do that. He's describing a problem with the system in a perhaps hypothetical scenario.
He said if you expand mail-in voting, this is the president.
This is,
it's reckless.
Well, this is a sort of cheap talk to get around the fundamental problem, which is the bipartisan commission chaired by Jimmy Carter and James Baker said back in 2009 that mail-in voting is fraught with the risk of fraud and coercion.
But since then,
and until this
administration, haven't proved it.
Let me talk.
Yeah, please.
And since that time, there have been in the newspapers, in networks, academic studies saying it is open to fraud and coercion.
Great points. Won't let Wolf Blitzer talk over him. He's taking the realm here. He's taking the stage, grabbing the microphone, being confident, not letting this amateur reporter try and put words in his mouth or Trump's mouth. And it's just, it's so obvious that it's fraught with corruption. It's so funny that the Democrats all of a sudden want to think it's safe. They want to pretend it'll work and it'll be okay. And it's just showing that they're trying to hide this. They don't want you to think it's not safe. They want to pretend all these studies that happened back in 2009, like he listed, a Democratic president, a former president, Jimmy Carter, Democrat, said mail-in voting wasn't safe, and we've gone by that since then. That's a very, very definite study from about 11 years ago. Reports have followed up on that, have proven that that was true, and now all of a sudden when the Democrats are about to lose, they use a pandemic to say we should all mail-in vote. It's pretty obvious that's a ploy to cheat and steal and try to take this election by force, by illegal means. And then that's why Wolf Blitzer is just focusing on something Trump said. Trump told people to vote twice. Not even true. That's besides the point. The greater point that AG Barr is making very powerfully is this is a bad system. Everyone knows mail-in voting is a bad idea.
The only time the narrative changed is after this administration came in. But elections that have been held with mail have found substantial fraud and coercion. For example, we indicted someone in Texas, 1,700 ballots collected from people who could vote. He made them out and voted for the person he wanted to, okay? Because that kind of thing happens with mail-in ballots, and everyone knows
But there are individuals cases, but as far as widespread fraud, we haven't seen that since...
well, we haven't had the kind of widespread use of mail-in ballots as being proposed. We've had absentee ballots from people who request them from a specific address. Now what we're talking about is mailing them to everyone on the voter list when everyone knows those voter lists are inaccurate.
Great points and follow-ups. And Wolf Blitzer is just getting owned. Like he said, we haven't had proof of widespread fraud. Those are just specific examples. Well, that's the only examples we have. Those are the only chances and times we've tried, pervasive mail-in voting. So if we do try it throughout the country, we will see fraud throughout the country. That's the point. The more you mail-in vote, the more fraud there is. And they're just suggesting it because they want to cheat. It only happened after Trump, as Barr said astutely, it's only a suggestion now because they want to cheat. It's so obvious. And CNN is defending this like they're Democratic cheerleaders. They don't even care about the truth, about the sanctity of our election process. They don't care about people's votes counting for who they wanted to. No, CNN just wants to push a narrative that will help Democrats cheat and win the election illegally.
People who should get them don't get them, which was what has been one of the major complaints in states that have tried this in municipal elections. And people who get them are not the right people. They're people who have replaced the previous occupant, and they can make them out. And sometimes multiple ballots come to the same address with a whole several generations of occupants. Do you think that's a way to run a vote?
Well, the only thing I'm saying is that so far we haven't seen widespread fraud. But
so far we haven't tried it.
Well,
yeah, it's the same point. He's telling you the same thing over and over, Wolf. You're not getting it. You're not smart. You can't stand up to someone like AG Barr. This guy is a seasoned veteran of politics. He's got a lot of experience as a lawyer in defending these things. He's a great American hero, in my opinion. I think it's cool that we could talk about him in this way and get his base story out here and just show you guys that, Trump has some good backers out there. Trump has a lot of support, and his party, his campaign, his team is really, really strong. He's got defense from someone like AG Barr. He's got Mike Pence in his corner. His VP is a good team member. He's got a great, strong supporting First Lady, Melania Trump. Trump's kids help him out too. He's got Ivanka and Junior helping him coordinate stuff, helping him with advice and consent and, applying things to the workload. They're all doing great jobs. AG Barr deserves respect, and I'm glad to see him doing so well on CNN in such a nasty location, in such a very, very terribly biased scenario. He's still coming out on top. That about wraps things up. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you comment your thoughts on everything below. Also hit that like button to get this shared, subscribe if you're new, and hit the bell for notifications too. Until next time, have a great day and a pleasant tomorrow.